Now then, people, and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. And it's quite an early upload for me. I've been up in the early AM watching Leeds United take on Aston Villa in Australia in our pre-season tour. Of course, we lost that game 1-0, disappointing result. The game wasn't the best spectacle, especially when the substitutions were made again. Young Archie Graves had to be carted off injured due to a horrendous challenge from John McGinn. It seemed like a little bit of retribution for his earlier challenge on another one of the Villa players. He's 16. I hope, he's okay because he looks like he could have a part to play this season. He looked like he was in tears. Not great. Disappointed for him. But yeah, Leeds lost the game 1-0. But the big talking point and the reason that I'm doing a video is, of course, Jack Harrison. Now, this is an instant reaction. We may hear more news later on. So if you're watching this after the fact, it may become old news, but I wanted to react to this because we know and have known since around about the 25th of May when I did the video on it that Jack Harrison to Newcastle is something that Newcastle are looking at. Okay, Newcastle are after someone to play off the right. Eddie Howe is a massive, massive fan of Jack Harrison. The player that currently plays there, of course, is Miguel Almiron, that's got like no goals and 1 assist last season. Terrible numbers. Newcastle are on the up. Newcastle are going places. They want to improve that right-hand side. You know, Callum Wilson they have up top. You've got Alan Saint-Maximin off the left. And then they're looking at Jack Harrison. Of course, there are other targets for them. Moussa Diaby is one of them at Leverkusen. But apparently they want 60 million for him. And the impressive thing I've seen with Newcastle since they've got this cash injection is, of course, the fact that they're being unwilling to be held to ransom. There used to be a Chelsea tax. There used to be a City tax. There's no Newcastle tax. If you're asking too much, they just won't make the move. They've been very, very smart and very, very savvy with how they're looking to operate as a football club. And that's why they're interested in Jack Harrison. We know that, right? Jack Harrison, season on season, whilst being at Leeds, has improved. Came in that first season, looked like, and he just got better and better. And even last season was another good season for him. I think he's very underappreciated within the Leeds United fan base. His comments after this game may change slightly. His opinion from Leeds United fans, it could potentially burn bridges, but we'll get to them comments in just a sec. But Jack Harrison has improved season on season on season. And I was expecting another big season for him because for me, now Jack Harrison becomes the Leeds United star, if you like. If you look at even the adverts for the new kit, etc., he's used alongside Joffrey. He's the next star. You know, Rafinha lost, Calvin lost. Of course, surely Leeds United will not entertain losing Jack Harrison. I did a video on it the other day just asking the Leeds United fans what they felt was a worthy amount to pay for Jack Harrison, because as we know, or as we're being told, Newcastle value him at 20 million. He's got 2 years left on a deal. 20 million, no thanks. You know, it's 20 million is a silly figure. You know, it's a silly figure because he's worth a lot more to Leeds United than that. And I think just in today's market, he's worth more than that. I mean, Transfermarkt have him valued at around about 16 million, but even still, that's crazy. It's crazy. And, you know, we paid like 11 million for him a couple of seasons ago. 20 million for me for a player that's done it in the Premier League and consistently improves is not enough. I asked Leeds fans previously in a poll what they feel was a worthy figure. The general consensus, 37% of the vote at the time, was around about 30 million, 35. And I asked the question, do we think Leeds United could potentially sell at that price? Do they look at what they paid for him and think, right, okay, we can reinvest that? Do we really need Jack? I think we do, but I'm just saying of trying to think how they would look at it, because of course 20 million, you're laughing at them, but if Newcastle came with 30 to 35 million, our Leeds going to look at that and think, you know what, there's a conversation we need to have here. The Victor Angus and Radrazani and the 49ers sit around and say, right, what decision do we make? And of course, Jack Harrison, the player himself, has to make a decision. It's his future, right? He's been touted at left wing back. I don't think he fancies that. He's been playing, you know, further upfield. That's his preferred position. Of course, Newcastle would offer him a position, a first-team starter, if you like, on the right-hand side of a midfield behind the striker. And Jack Harrison might like the idea. I've said before, Jack Harrison might like the idea of moving to Newcastle. We have to remember that Newcastle are a team on the up. And they're a team that will improve and a team that will be pushing for Europe much sooner than what Leeds United will, I think, anyway, personally. They probably can offer him bumper money, and he doesn't have to move. He probably lives in the north. It's not too far from Newcastle. You know, I do the drive regularly from Sunderland. It ain't all that far. And the reason that we're talking about that is because Jack was asked a question specifically after the game. Jack Harrison, tell the Leeds fans what they want to hear. Are you staying? His response to that was, we'll see. Now, I'm really surprised that he's made them comments. There's a lot of people assume that maybe he may be angling for a new contract. Maybe that could be tactics to let the board know that he's considering this. But I don't think it's a throwaway comment. Like, you know, I've been speaking to a friend of mine just what his initial thoughts on it were, and it's like he said he'll burn bridges with fans. There'll be a lot of fans that'll be frustrated that he's not committed to the cause, you know, that he's not turned around, for example, and said, you know, no, of course I'm here. I'm at Leeds United, or I don't want to discuss that right now. But to say, we'll see, for me, is putting us at like, what do you mean we'll see? Are you leaving? Are you angling for a move? Do you not want to be at Leeds? Does that alert Newcastle? Like I said in transfers, conversations go on before any bids are put in. People call it tapping up or whatever, but Leeds United do it. Leeds United do it. The powers that be at Newcastle will have spoken to Jack Harrison. 100%. Would you like a move? Yeah, I'd be up for a move. Otherwise, they won't be pursuing it. Remember, I first brought this story to you on the 25th of May. It's been reported by a number of reputable sources since then. We just did a video just the other day. Jack Harrison has been asked himself, you know, tell the Leeds fans what they want to hear. Are you staying? His response was, we'll see. That's not great. That's not great. Of course, we need a striker. We need a left back. We need a backup goalkeeper. We don't want to then have to dip into the market for another player because we'd need to then replace Jack. You know, we'd have to replace Jack. Quite interesting yesterday that Cody Gakpo was left out of PSV pre-season. Could he be an option? They had a friendly against Villarreal. If indeed Jack was to move on, could we reinvest that with the Rafinha money on a Callum Mwendo and a Cody Gakpo? Would that improve Leeds United? Yes, potentially. But what we have to remember is about the continuity of the squad. Do we want to run the risk of losing Harrison, Calvin and Rafinha all in one window? There'll be some Leeds fans that will say 30 million, 35, snap your hands off, move on. But I think he's very underappreciated. It's one to watch. I don't know what to make of the comments. I think it's not great. Just shut it down or don't answer. Tell the Leeds fans what they want to hear. Are you staying? His answer was, we'll see. Not great. And that must pique the interest of Newcastle fans and pique the interest of the powers that be. He could have shut it at source. And listen, we might hear comments a little bit later on as the day develops. Oh, I didn't mean it. But he said it. We'll see. He heard the question. He said, we'll see. What do you mean we'll see? Are you leaving? Do you know what I mean? So Jack Harrison is either one, angling for a new improved deal. Let's hope it's that, because he probably deserves it. Or he's open to a move to Newcastle. We'll have to wait and see. We will have to wait and see. I want to know your thoughts in the comments. At what point will Leeds United accept a bid from Newcastle? What's acceptable? And what do you make to Jack Harrison's comments? There's a lot of people that will say, you know, they don't want CDK because they don't want to come to Leeds United, etc. Well, how do you feel about the fact that Jack Harrison, when asked, are you staying at Leeds United, said, we'll see. We'll see. What do you mean? That's my thoughts on it. If you don't want to be here, do you know what I mean? As long as we get them up. But I just don't think we can run the risk of losing him. We'll have to wait and see what comes out in the wash. But thanks as always for watching the video. Smash a like, share, subscribe, get your comments in, and I'll see you in a bit. There'll be more to come from this, I'm sure. But thanks as always for watching. Enjoy your Sunday. It's going to be a busy week for Leeds United, all told. And yeah, enjoy the video. Watch some of the watch along if you like. Not that there's many highlights from a Leeds United perspective, but yeah, have a great Sunday and I'll see you in a bit. Peace out. Leeds.